Leadership. The construction industry is in desperate need of it right now. And I'm going to share with you what needs to happen next. But first, let me back up. We have a cultural shift happening in the construction industry today. Baby boomers are what? They're retiring. And it has already started and will continue for the next several years. 2030 is going to be a very big turning point. By that year, all the baby boomers will be the age of 65. It will be a transformative decade. Let me share with you a statistic from the U.S. Census Bureau. By 2030, 1 in every 5 residents will be of retirement age. Adults 65 and older will also officially outnumber children by the year 2030. By 2035, there will be 78 million people 65 years and older. This is in comparison to 76.7 million under the age of 18. Why is this so important to construction? All of the experience, all of the knowledge will be gone. So if you're watching this right now, here's the reality of the situation. Many leaders in the construction industry, not all, but many, lead by the mantra, do what I have always done it, the way I've always done it, often with little insight into why. It is easy to get focused on the project and what needs to get done, and forget about teaching and mentoring the people who are working on the project. So if you're younger and watching this, you get that. If you're older, you know that's what you say. So here's another hard reality. Beyond baby boomers retiring, beyond the labor shortage, the fundamental ways businesses are run is changing. Quite simply, the way leaders lead is changing. Stratex recently identified top leadership development trends to be aware of. Let me share them with you very quickly, and then I will dig into the ones I believe most impact our construction industry. The top trends are flattening organizational structures, increasing need to develop self and others, approach the talent cliff, striving for gender balance, shifting focus to development of soft skills, and adopting a blended approach to leadership development. Now, some of these I've already touched on, and the role of the leader is changing. They need to create a vision and inspire teams. They need to listen to the workers and coach as necessary. They also need to focus on developing their own skills and the skills of others. Does this sound like leaders in the construction industry today? Perhaps yes, and perhaps no. But this is what is needed. I also love how Stratex refers to baby boomer retirement as a kind of approaching the talent cliff. I specifically like that it points to the fact that we need to mentor and coach now. In order to prepare for the transition, we also need to think about, is this so true? I think one of the most interesting takeaways I had from this report was the fact that there needs to be a blended learning approach. Programs need to be both divergent and convergent. So listen up. This is what construction needs to do today. We need communication workshops, personal development plans, online learning, executive coaching, team building, and peer feedback sessions. We need both large group learning activities as well as individual or small group learning. We need to capture the knowledge from those retiring today before it's too late. We need our leaders to step up and build people. We need to leave our legacy. We need to redefine what it means to lead, and it starts today. Who's to blame? Why is there such a disconnect in leadership development? Let's welcome back Mark Breslin, President of Breslin Strategies and Executive Director of United Contractors. Mark, welcome back. I'm so glad you could join us again.
Thanks for having me.
So Mark, when we left last time, we were talking about who's to blame. Let's get right into that because the list is long and deep, and we could start with that.
All right, well, it's senior leadership. Senior leadership. Show me a CEO in a construction company in America. Show me an owner. Show me the head of a union. Show me the head of an owner group. And what I'll tell you is they own the problem because they have not been proactive in developing leadership at the right level to push a revolution in skilled labor enhancement.
Now, that's not everybody. We've got some leaders are very good. We've got some that are lacking in skills. Why is that? Because I think the problem is leaders are so focused on trying to make their company successful. They're not the Jack Welches of the world. They're not black belts. They don't understand leadership starts at the top. So they're thinking, I'm going to leave it for others. But they're the ones that have to be the ones that drive change, right?
Yeah. Well, how about this? How about you write a check? How about you say, we're going to dedicate a significant amount of money to leadership development inside of our company. We're going to give it to PMs. We're going to give it to superintendents. We're going to give it to foremen. Oh, yeah. I ask them, sometimes I say, did you spend more money on field leadership last year or golf? And you can hear a pin drop. You know, you have to confront people with the idea that—
You mean you shouldn't be golfing?
What?
Come on, everybody should be golfing.
Fine. Take your foreman golfing day. There it is. It's perfect.
Isn't that bonding? Isn't that what you're supposed to be doing? They're going to say they're supposed to be bonding. Isn't that what America does?
No, you sit
Men bond. Men bond. Come on, this is a male sport, right? We only have 9% women. We discussed this.
You sit on the end of your pickup truck with a 12-pack. That's what you do if you want to bond. Come on, Peggy.
Come on. That's why women. I mean, how many women are there? You know, I just gave out women heavy equipment operators. We don't have many of those. That's the problem. We have this perception. But you're saying leadership. Well, then should we be picking on all the leadership? All the leaders in this world, all these CEOs are going to be just heavily ticked off by hearing this right now.
Look, if I'm sitting in front of them, here's what I would tell them. I say, hey, look, who builds the work? Your foreman. Not you, not your PMs, not your IT, foreman. So where's the money going into foreman and superintendent leadership? Because why? They have to be the mentors. They got to be the people who are taking care of the new kid, the new apprentice, the new young man or woman who's coming in the business. If we're not investing in them, shame on us. And that's where the big ROI is. That's where the big money comes in, is profit, schedule, everything runs off the field.
They all have HR departments, Mark. So if they have HR departments, isn't that leadership? Isn't that in their mind what they see? What does it mean to be a leader? Maybe that's what they're not understanding, what they should be doing. They're training them in the field. They're training them how to run a crane. They're training them how to be safe on the job site. What does it mean to be a leader? Maybe the definition is poorly defined for them.
I think that's a great point, Peggy. I think one of the things is if you ask most tradespeople, think about an average foreman in America. He'll run $100, $200, $300 million worth of work in his career or her career. And you ask them what they do for a living, they'll say, I'm a fitter, I'm a plumber, I'm an iron worker, I'm an electrician, I'm a carpenter. I'm like, no, you're not. You're running $500 million worth of work. It's their own perception of not being a leader that is holding our industry back. And management and leadership have to empower these people so they see themselves in the light of being professionals. And then they can go to their community and say, people say, what do you do for a living? Say, I'm a professional construction leader. I make $130,000 a year. And parents and teachers and school counselors say, where do we sign up? And we're just, the narrative's wrong. The idea of trying to push down to the field level a professional industry, not like, oh, we're just a bunch of blue-collar guys building something.
So how do you change that? That's the thing now. Will that change when we start to build these enormous smart cities? Because now we're building communities that are different than what we had in the past. I mean, we're not building just skyscrapers. We're building enormous different communities that they've never imagined before. Is that going to change it? I mean, I think the mindset is different.
That's a really interesting question. How about this? Most foremen now have an iPad or something similar. So it does change it. The idea that you go out there and you're just some old grumpy guy and you're yelling at people, telling them what to do. Now you got your iPad, you got your as-builds, you've got building information modeling. You're going to need a more sophisticated, smarter, more capable field leader, and companies are getting it. But it's just starting out. Like my clients all over the United States, last 3 to 5 years, it's starting to go. And I think it's going to be exponential from here on. That's just my take.
But here's the problem. Is it going to happen too late? Because we have a failing infrastructure right now. If leadership doesn't do things now, how are we going to change the problems we have? We can't wait until the next generation gets out of high school, or is in middle school. We've got to get those, we have to steal them from other industries to get into construction. So leadership has to change their mindset now to get the right people from the Googles and the Ubers. How do you do that? How do you get those big construction companies that are what we call the E&R 400s to think differently to get into these big companies? There's only less than, I think it's 8% of the really large companies in the world that are billion-dollar corporations.
I think that you take those E&R companies and you'll find now that they've all added a position of learning and development officer. I mean, that no one had that a while ago. They have almost everybody has recruiters now, internal recruiters. Never had that before. Talent procurement and talent management is the deal. And one of the things we talk about is $1 trillion infrastructure bill. You take that, you marry that to reduced immigration.
Now we're talking $2 trillion. $2 trillion they want. Come on.
Whatever it is, it's a tsunami. It's a giant wave of work that cannot be performed with current construction industry unemployment of under 4%. There isn't anybody left. There isn't any other alternative. So now you got to get out there and make it happen, or you can't do the work and you can't grow. And that's what motivates contractors.
I think our problem is we have a very lackadaisical mindset at the top, that this is not going to be something they have to worry about. They think they have a middle management team that has it under control. Is that what's happening right now?
I don't know. That's a good point. The detachment between the C-suite and the field could be pretty profound. But I can tell you, they know, no matter what, they know that they have this problem because they're having to turn down work. And here's what it comes down to. Simple. Want to make money? Build people. Want to grow your company? Build people. Like, that's the new calculus. It's not the opportunity. There's more opportunity and gonna be more opportunity forever. So it's like that side of the ledger is, it's all here for you. Your job as a construction company now is build people. And no one has ever taken that as a cultural approach. The work comes in, you build it.
But are we mentoring people? You could say build people, but are those people on the job mentoring the people that are there so that they're skilled to be able to do the job? That's the question.
Half and half.
You can't have half and half. You can't have half and half.
I got it. But the baby boomers are a bunch of grumpy, freaking old, grizzled vets who came up in the business and they're like, I paid my dues and I don't really care. And like these, the younger people are like, why is he being such an asshole? How come he's not taking care of me? So that disconnect is a problem. But there are a lot of people out there taking that personal interest in knowledge transfer and making sure that a lot of these young people.
They have the knowledge. Those grumpy old guys you're talking about have the knowledge that those younger guys and gals need. So how do you turn that grizzly old person you're talking about into a really kind, gentle bear who can share that knowledge? That's what we need, right? Because those are the guys that are going to help. And those are the gals we need to build the next generation of contractors to build tomorrow's future.
What I tell my contractor clients is the most important award in your whole company should be Mentor of the Year. You should send that guy and his wife to Hawaii and put them up in front of everybody. You got to make it important, and you got to reward the behavior, and you got to make it high profile. And the light goes on. Everyone I've ever said that to instantly put that award into their company. Because why? Because you're telling people, this is important, and we're going to reward you for it. So get over your grumpy BS and frickin' take care of some of these young people. And they're like, boom, light goes on. They're like, that's a great idea. And then, of course, just like safety, you have rewards, make it important, and behavior changes. So that's my take, is you got to change the behavior. Otherwise, why would they be incentivized? They don't care.
We're going to talk about changing safety and behavior next time. All right, well, Mark, I appreciate your time. Every time you're on here, I always learn something new, right? We've got to get people thinking different. All right, Mark Breslin, president of Breslin Strategies and executive director of United Contractors. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks, Peggy. Take care.
A great leader will recognize one key factor. The role of the worker is changing. The advent of technology is redesigning jobs. Now let me give you a simple example. 20 years ago, an accountant was an accountant. They were often responsible for many manual tasks and gathering all the information. Now enter ERP. Suddenly silos began disappearing. Software changed the way people worked. One employee could do 2 or 3 times what they used to do, often encompassing other jobs. That was 20 years ago. We are entering the era of automation, one where robotics and AI and machine learning will make decisions. Let me share some predictions with you. Deloitte suggests that roughly 2/3 of businesses cite AI and robotics as an important or very important issue in human capital, and a whopping 81% predict growth in AI through 2024. With the explosion of technology comes a change in jobs. Jobs aren't going to be eliminated. They are going to change, and that is a fundamental difference. Deloitte calls it the super job. McKinsey says the age of automation technology will displace workers, but smart workers will change the way they work. Quite simply, technology is not only changing the nature of the skill of the job it requires, rather it is changing the nature of the work and the job itself. Super jobs, or the new age of automation, will require a vast knowledge of technology and soft skills. Keen leaders need to recognize this shift is coming. We are entering a world of digital business models, augmented workforces, and a shift in a more team-based work practices than ever before. Smart leaders understand. Smart leaders are adapting, and smart leaders are changing. We are nearing an era where some of the most knowledgeable workers are gearing up to leave the workforce. This is starting to create dramatic shift in jobs lost, and this means jobs gained all through the year 2030, according to McKinsey. Now, here's my recommendation to leaders right now. Take a moment. Recognize we are at the precipice of a big change. Find ways to mentor those who are working for you. Teach them the way. We need to keep the trades educated and build a pipeline of workers in an effort to narrow the anticipated gap of millions of jobs between 2028 and 2030. Explain how business operates. Show how to build, and then new workers will apply the technology skills they possess. And as an industry, we need leaders to step up today. It is time to recognize mature economies. How will all these changes impact global construction? Consider the changes you need to make. Are you explaining the social and environmental factors? Prepare your companies for the changes that are coming. Are you ready? If not, you could be prone to losing all the right people and hiring all the wrong people. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Construct Tech TV. Fierce advocates for construction.